Okay, hello everyone, good afternoon. Welcome to our webinar about food entrepreneurship and innovation. We're really happy to have you. So today's webinar is sponsored by GIZ, the German Development Agency, 51 Labs and Mosul Space. 51 Labs, for those of you who don't know, is a startup incubator based in the Kurdistan region, and we help bright young entrepreneurs like yourselves launch and grow their businesses. And today we have a very exciting program featuring Phil, the founder of Jum'a Kitchen. Phil is a self-taught chef, and he launched Jum'a Kitchen in London in 2012. Phil is an Irish Iraqi chef, and his food has been influenced by Middle Eastern and modern European cuisine, which reflects his upbringing. Phil has a unique and talented approach, which has changed the way that people perceive and experience Iraqi cuisine. And as someone who has eaten Phil's food many times, I can tell you it's very delicious. So Phil, welcome. It's nice to have you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Thanks, Patricia. Thanks, Mosul Space and 51 Labs. It's a privilege, and I'm excited to meet you all and hopefully get to know you as well.
Thanks, Phil. I'll pass to Salih now.
Thank you, Patricia and Philly. I'm Salih Mahmod from Mosul Space. I'm managing Mosul Space. Sorry, I'm talking in English. موصل سبيس مركز الابتكار بمدينة الموصل. أنا صالح محمود أدير موصل سبيس، ومعي عبد الله مرتضى ورشد أيضا من التيم. موصل سبيس اليوم يستضيف بالشراكة مع جمعة كيتشن و51 لابس هذه الجلسة حتى نتكلم عن ريادة الأعمال والابتكار بمجال الغذاء، وراح نجاوب على كل أسئلتكم. كل الأسئلة اللي تريدون تسألوها راح نسألها للشيف وبنهاية هذا السيشن. بنفس الوقت فيليب جمعة اللي ما يعرفه هو طباخ وطاهي، علم نفسه الطبخ ومؤسس المطبخ جمعة اللي أسسه بمدينة لندن عام 2012. وهو بالأصل إنجليزي إيرلندي عراقي، وحاول إنه ينقل شغلات من المطبخ الشرقي اللي هو عاشها بنشأته وشافها مع مزج من المطبخ الأوروبي داخل مطبخه، وانعكست هاي طريقة طبخه بالثقافة أيضاً اللي موجودة بلندن. هو قدم شيء فريد بهذا الدمج، وهذا الشيء انطى ميزة إنه يطلع بمطبخ عراقي ملائم للبيئة اللي موجودة بأوروبا، وحصل على الكثير من التغطية الإعلامية والتقارير للمشروع ماله. فراح يحكي لنا هو أكثر عن الشيء اللي سواه، وراح يكون معانا أستاذ حسنين راح يترجم لنا بالشات بوكس الكلام من إنجليزي إلى عربي. تمام، شكرا جزيلا.
Thank you, Salih. And for those who are here with us, can you please type your name in the chat box just so we know who's in the room? For those of you who haven't used Zoom before, if you look at the bottom of your screen, there's a button that says chat, which you can open and click and type your name. So what we will do is we will ask a few questions for Phil, but we want this to be useful for everyone. And we, will ask a few questions and then leave it for all of you to ask any questions or give any comments that you have. I think Phil would like this to be very interactive, so we'll leave most of the time for questions. Okay, are we ready to get started? Yeah.
So just quickly, as far as the questions and the translation will go, just please give me any signal to pause, and I'll do my best to speak slowly, clearly, and so everyone can get the communication.
Sounds good. And feel free for those asking questions in Arabic, you can type in the chat box or speak, so we'll take questions in any way. So Phil, we'll get started. Salih and I gave a small introduction, but we would love if you could give us an introduction about yourself and how you started your business.
Thank you. So first of all, I just want to acknowledge everyone who's taken the time to come onto the call. You know, as a food entrepreneur, no matter where you are in the world, it's testament for you to be here, because it's telling yourself, it's telling myself that you're up to something. And it really, I want to acknowledge as well, like, what it takes to be an entrepreneur, especially within the food industry. And I'm really looking forward to sharing my story, and hopefully it will be a contribution to you all. So yeah, I really hope you get that. So my name's Philip, and I am the founder and I guess head chef of Juma Kitchen. It's I describe my business as a catering, pop-up, private chef, fast food restaurant. There's many different arms to the business, but what is essential is that I've been celebrating Iraqi cuisine for the past 6 years in London. And shall I pause, or shall I just keep going?
Salih, I'll let you jump in, because I don't know how fast the translation is going.
Yeah, I think the translation is going well, but you need to give yourself just a small stop between words, okay?
I will.
Thank you.
I'm taking care of the translation.
Thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Hasanain.
This is beautiful, like, you know, amazing. So so where was I? So yeah, so I actually originally came from a economics background at university. I studied economics, and my path was to just go into the city and the financial district, and to really spend the rest of my career in that area. And my father, who is of the Iraqi side of the family, my mother English Irish, you know, for them, and it's something quite important that I want to include for them, they wanted me to be in a secure job and to have a secure income, and for me to, I guess every father and parent would like to be proud of their son, you know, working in finance. And in London, there's a quiet joke, like, if you're Iraqi, you're either a doctor, you're either a dentist, or what have you. So for me, being in food, it was a shock to them, and which I'll touch upon later. So coming from an economics background, I wasn't entirely happy within my career. Everything was great, like on the surface. So pay was great, financially stable, secure job, but within me and my heart, I wasn't content, and I wasn't happy. So I was looking at areas of my life where there was passion, and cooking and food was a big passion of mine. And being brought up on Iraqi food from my dad, Kubat Mosul, Kubat Hamath, Dolma, it was just like, that type of food was just incredible. And it was never really represented in London, that in a way that I felt was giving it the respect and the care and the attention that it deserved. And I'd kind of like be obviously working in the city, and I'd have, like, let's say dolma the night before, and I'd bring in leftover food to colleagues, and I'd be, you know, try this, and they'd be eating it, and, you know, their faces, their description, they've never seen or tried anything like this before. So that was kind of like a seed that was planted for me to be like, okay, you know, here is this food that I know so well, that I've been brought up eating, but there's a whole world out there that doesn't know it. And it's delicious, like, it's incredible. And it's kind of like, okay, so that was something that was there in the back of my mind while I was working in finance. And I resigned, if I fast forward, I resigned from that world in 2011. And at that time, it was a real kind of a very pivotal moment, because, as I say, having parents and an Iraqi dad, like, he wanted me to stay in finance. He didn't want me to be, you know, anything but kind of like secure and well paid. So within that, it was a very kind of difficult time, because they didn't really understand that it was my passion driving the decision of leaving the finance world. So when I did decide to kind of say, you know, I want to put Iraqi cuisine on the map in London, I want to start a food business, the best way that I felt to do that was via a concept called pop-ups. And in London at the time, there was various pop-ups happening, and maybe just to explain, a pop-up is where you take over a restaurant, and you put, a chef comes in and he puts his cuisine there, or he puts his, whatever he specializes in, he will put that on the menu for that night or that week or that month. And you negotiate with the premises owner of how you structure the financials of it. And I took over this tiny small cafe in an area in London, in Wimbledon, and it was full with friends, with family, and remember, at this stage, I didn't know really, I wasn't a chef, I didn't know how to, I wasn't that good at cooking, but I just knew that Iraqi cuisine is nowhere to be seen, and I want to do something about that. And we filled the venue. It was a sellout, and it was an incredible evening, because I learned so much about kind of the feedback from the customers, from my friends and family. And if I look back now in hindsight, like, the cooking, I didn't really cook that well, like the food wasn't that good, but I took action. And it was the first step and the first taste and the first like moment for me where I was like, right, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to give my all into this. And that was the birth of Juma and the company. And for the next 2 years, I was doing pop-ups at many different venues across London, and slowly the name and the brand was being built. And I want to touch upon, if I may, at this time, like social media. You know, having Facebook, having Instagram, having Twitter. I don't know about TikTok, but I'm hearing TikTok is amazing now, but I'm not involved yet. I probably will be soon. But having these platforms there was crucial for my business to grow. Like, it was crucial. And at the time in London, there were lots of food influencers, and I was trying to invite a lot of people to my pop-ups. And because Iraqi cuisine wasn't really represented and wasn't really known, I got a lot of no's, like, no, not going there, or just for whatever reason, I wasn't getting as much kind of attraction to people coming. And I want to just touch upon, you know, getting no's. Like, throughout my career, there have been so many times people have said no to me, like, so many. And the most crucial kind of thing, and the most, even if it was the one thing we take from today, is that do not allow on your journeys, do not allow that word no to mean anything. Don't bring any meaning to it. You know, don't lose hope. Don't, you know, any of that stuff. Like, it's just kind of like a communication from one person to another that it isn't for them. And there were times, I'm only sharing this because there were so many times where I was so like disheartened, and there were so many times where I wanted to just quit and leave it and just, you know, go back to my old job. But just keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. That is kind of something that is so important within the entrepreneur world, which I'm sure you're all aware of. So social media, again, really like harness that, leverage that for your own advantage. Food is food, right? You know, we can take beautiful, sexy shots of food. We can take, you know, we can do lots of like cooking videos, methodologies. But one thing that I guess was to my advantage was that I was doing something different. Like, Iraqi cuisine was not out there, and as much as that maybe, you know, caused a lot of no's and caused a lot of things that maybe didn't move as quickly for me, it also attracted a lot of things that were really positive because it was so new. People wanted to try something different, and that allowed me to really kind of like leverage that and to really kind of celebrate the fact that people were open and willing to try a new cuisine that they've never had before. Fast forward to probably the next 3 years. By this stage, I was in a local newspaper writing a food column. It's called the London Evening Standard. I was doing a food column for the London Evening Standard, writing recipes, Iraqi recipes, every fortnight, every 2 weeks. I was doing cooking demonstrations in markets, and, you know, being, I guess being kind of being a symbol for Iraqi cuisine in London. And as much as that was great, I also felt a hell of a lot of pressure, because as a self-taught chef, I didn't really, there was always a feeling of, you know, am I good enough? Am I good enough? Like, do I know everything? I don't know everything. Like, there's a lot of pressure here to be labeled anything. And that's another thing that I kind of want to highlight, is that we're all going to have our own internal voices. And even, you know, I'm assuming everyone on this call can relate. You know, we all have our voices in our heads that might give us doubt, or you know, have us look at ourselves where we're not as good as maybe others think of us, and we're not as good in our own eyes. And what I'd say is that just keep going, like keep in action, you know, always move forward with that, and never really listen to those demons or those thoughts, because they're always going to be there. And for me, being a self-taught chef, it was so apparent, like constantly. And bearing in mind, like now at this stage, 3 years in, like Iraqis are coming to eat the food, and they're like the biggest critics, right? They're coming here like saying, oh, you know, every detail, like, and Iraq, as you know, Iraq's cuisine and culture is so rich, and there's dishes that are done different in different regions and different areas of Iraq. And for me, like being like from Maslawi, from my dad being from Mosul, it was like, I didn't know about the other regions. I was just like, this is all I know. So even when that kind of critique came, that made me feel really like insecure and like, oh God, I've done this wrong and what have you. And the thing that I just got was that there isn't a right way and there isn't a wrong way. This is just Joma's way of doing it. And it's my self-expression on a plate. And if you all can find, and it might take time to get this, but if you can all find your self-expression, like when I say self-expression, I mean like what's there for you in your heart authentically. No distractions, no opinions from others. Like for you, what is there? And I think when you really focus on that, I think that's so much more powerful than maybe just listening to others and following trends and doing things for the sake of doing things. Like if you really like focus on what is your passion and what is coming from your heart, that will set you aside from everyone else, because you know the food industry is tough. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it or lie. It's so tough. Like the hours we work, the whole thing is very labor intensive. And for me, like representing Iraqi cuisine, I've probably picked the most labor intensive, fiddly cuisine out there. So, you know, really have it that it's really have it that you're gonna, you know, just cook from your heart, and even if you are there 16 hour days, like you're on your feet, like, because it's from your heart, you won't mind. Like it's gonna happen. So that is one bit of advice I'd definitely highlight today. And the other thing I want to share is that I never really, and this might be against a lot of teachings, I never really had any goals on the journey. I was just in action. I was just being like, okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? And there were so many times, I can't stress this enough, where I was like, khalas, I'm done. I'm out. I don't want anything more to do with this. This game is over. And financially, it was a really extremely tough at times. I didn't know where, there was no real consistency in where my next paycheck was going to come in. Lots of my friends were doing really well in their like corporate careers. You know, they were still wearing their suits and going to all fancy stuff, and I'm there like sweating and just, you know, not looking after my health because I'm working so hard, and my mum's worried about me, my dad's worried about me. And you know, it's just, I think you have to go through those bits. You have to really go through those challenges where you are literally at breaking point. And it's like, you know, and when I look at all the food people that started with me, like, because there was lots of foodies that started with me, alongside me, doing their own food startups. I look around me now and it's like, there's just a handful of us still here. And if I was to sort of have dinner with them all, like they're all of them are my friends, but we've all got something there that has set us aside and set us apart. And that is just that, just like relentless desire to just, you know, keep pushing through. And again, like I want to highlight, at times it is like, yeah, I want to finish this, I want to get out. But whenever that is, just, I don't know, email me, ring me, I don't know, just like reach out to me, and we'll get a translator on the phone and we can work it out. But it's a real tough industry. And but the rewards are incredible. I don't want to make out anything, but it's like, the rewards are amazing. Like feeding people, I don't think we can find anything more pure and more authentic. And even now, I think we might talk about Corona later, but even now during Corona, like even though the hospitality industry has suffered tremendously, people still need to eat. And it's an industry that it will stand the test of time. Like I can't see us never, like the restaurant industry might be different, but you know, takeaways and everything like that, it's not going to be going away. So you're in an incredible industry. So I want to just wrap up my journey. So we've done the pop-ups. I kind of went through a stage where I was working really, really hard on those, and financially I wasn't getting too much back, and it was quite difficult, but it helped me build a brand. And then I kind of took a backward step, and I thought, where can I focus on that will give me, you know, revenue streams and will give me better income? And that was like catering, events, weddings, and kind of specialized in that area. And that really gave me a real sense of kind of like fulfillment, because I was enjoying it more, and I was smiling more, and I was getting a better income from it. And my reach was, so you got to think, to begin with, it was all pop-ups. So it was almost like quite a niche area of people who would come, a niche kind of target audience. By going into now events and catering and private chef and takeaway dinners and things like that, that allowed me to reach more people, and that then allowed the brand to grow further. So that was really, really great. And fast forward to now, I've built a brand. I've built the Jamal name, and you know, one thing that I stand by is like, I care so much about every single thing I do. And like some of my friends, chefs that work with me who are now like part of the team, I drive them crazy, like with my details and just how particular I am with everything. And but at the same time, that has probably got me to where I am right now. So don't be frightened, and I'll invite you all to really like look, or whatever, and I really want to discover what kind of food entrepreneurs are in the audience today, but really like perfect your craft. And when I say that, like, I mean like get obsessed about it, get kind of like ridiculously involved and obsessed, because that in itself, that passion and that kind of drive to be involved in something like, let's say, cupcakes. You know, everyone knows cupcakes, right? Everyone knows cupcakes, pretty easy to make. But I have no doubt if someone was like obsessed with cupcakes, and I'm talking like trying out different flours, looking at the vegan market of flours, looking at different icings where it's like, you know, you're using maybe not as much sugar, and, you know, like looking at different elements of like what makes a cupcake, dismantling that and really kind of like investigating, how can I get a business out of this? And, you know, I've done it with kubba. You know, I've really like become obsessed with kubba and Iraq and Mosul especially, right? We're rocking the best kubba in the world. I'm going to say that now. And it's a yeah, I became obsessed, and for me, it's now been my latest project, an arm of the business, that I've now got a permanent takeaway stall at a famous market in London, and it just specialized in kubba. Now again, for Iraqis, that might be like, whatever, like we have this for fun, like we eat this every day, it's nothing. But again, like if you were to look at like, just if we could relate on Iraqi dishes, like the kebab, for example, you know, it's just meat on charcoal and that's it. Like, but is it like, if you were to get obsessed with that and really just focus like a year of your life just on the mission to find like the best kebab, the best, you know, finding out the best fat content, the best type and cut of meat for that kebab, even the best type of charcoal that will add flavor into the kebab, the best bread, the best salad garnish, all these things. And this is what London's has become, where people have just specialized in one thing and one thing only, and they've just created businesses out of it, and like almost empires. So yeah, I just wanted to just, you know, really share that, like, become obsessed, whatever product you've got and whatever product you're passionate about, just become obsessed with it. And again, you're gonna attract people within the team, etc., that will hopefully share that with you. And team is something that is very essential to kind of segue into. For such a long time, I was on my own with the business, and if I look back now, I probably should have got more help in the kitchen than I did. And I say that because when you are like just on your own, like there's just so much on your shoulders. Forget the cooking aspect, but like the business aspect. Okay, who's doing the social media? Who's doing the newsletter? Who's doing the website? You know, and it's like, it's really important to look within your communities and to really find out who can you count on and who can you, like, don't be frightened to bring in favors. You know, this isn't about money now. Like, if you've got close people who will just, you know, see that you're doing a startup, you know, don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to ask close people to build a website for you and maybe pay them in food or whatever. Or don't be afraid to have someone work alongside you and do a photo shoot, you know, and get the, you know, the beautiful photos on your menu and on your website that will hopefully give the other person experience, give that photographer, oh wow, they're calling on me and I can shoot. I've been asked. It's a privilege to be asked, and you know, hopefully it's a win-win for both people. And you know, and that's something I lacked when I look back, and probably a little bit now as well. I struggle asking people for help. I struggle with, like, you know, really like utilizing my community and leveraging it as much as maybe I should and as much as I could. And for me, like, just to bring in Corona, like my business, like everything that I've shared was leading up to me opening a permanent site at this market. All my life savings, every penny just went into it. I was open 3 months and then Corona happened, and I just didn't know what to do. I was really scared. I was confused. I was upset. I was just so many emotions. And one thing that came up for me was like, you know, I've built and I've built this thing, and I can't let it go without, you know, without a fight. And unfortunately for me, there was still rent being asked. I needed to pay my rent. I still had bills to pay. I had lots of outgoings, and I thought, let me see if I can ask for some help from people. And I set up this thing called a gift voucher, where, you know, yourself, you pay up front and you claim at a later date. So I asked that of my followers, of everyone, and the response, like the response was unbelievable, like completely blew me away. And I just want to get everyone present to, like, had I not asked even for help there, my business probably would have gone under. You know, like that's like, that's sometimes the margin. Like, we forget just who is in our circle, who is in our communities, and we sometimes just don't ask. So really, like, you know, look at that, and I invite you all to look at your phone book and see who's out there that can help me, you know, push my business forward. And again, just feed them. Everyone loves a feed. Just feed them food. So yeah, guys, I think kind of that, hopefully I've probably missed out lots of bits, but I don't want to talk too long. So I want you guys to ask questions, and I hope that really gives you an insight into what I've built and the journey. And I really want to invite anyone who's just in the audience now, like, use this time, use me. Like, I've been on a journey for the last 6 years doing this. So please ask any question that comes up, no matter what it is, just ask, and I'll do everything I can to answer it and hopefully contribute. So yeah, that's me, guys.
Thanks so much, Phil, for sharing your inspiring story. We will see if anyone has questions. Feel free, guys, turn on your camera so Phil can see you, unmute yourself, or
Yes,
type in the chat box. I think, Ahmed, you had a question a few minutes ago. I'm just going up in the chat box. Feel free. Ahmed Al-Hasnawi, feel free if you have a question to unmute yourself or ask in the chat box.
Okay. Hi guys. Hi Philip. It's honestly an honor for me to get to speak to you.
Ahmed, could you? That's better. I can hear you now, bro.
Yeah. Okay. I was saying it's really an honor for me that I get to speak to you. I consider you a symbol for modern Iraqi food. Presenting it to the West, raising the flag up high, and
100%.
I'm a big fan. I love everything that you do. Not everything that you do is typical. Maybe that's what, I mean, I saw your masgoof, how it's, I remember it was a fillet fish, I remember, and that's not how people are.
I think you arrived in my inbox as soon as I posted that with hate mail.
Yeah. I love everything that you do. Like I said, I don't know how many times.
It means a lot.
So I don't know what it was that I wanted to comment about. I forgot because you went through quite a lot.
Tell me about you. What are you up to? What is your startup? What are you doing in your world?
My startup. I'm actually. I have lots of questions about the UK and how it is, how it would be possible, in your opinion, as somebody who does Iraqi food there. I want to start a humble Iraqi/Middle Eastern vegan stall, cart, pop-up, as you mentioned earlier for yourself. So I don't know where to begin. I don't know how to start. I know that I plan to get married in the UK. I know I plan to reside there. I'm currently in Baghdad, just in case you're wondering. But I'm wondering, you said that we should ask you for some advice, some tips.
First of all, I'd say, and this is great you've asked this question. Thanks so much, Ahmed, and I got the acknowledgement, and thank you, bro. And we will meet when you come to London. 100% you can count on me to show you around. So first of all, I'd say the whole Iraqi Middle East, for me, that was such a thing when I was starting out. Shall I make it Middle Eastern food? Shall I make it Arabic food? What are we? And then people were like, no, not Iraqi. And I'm just, I'm so glad I just went for it, and really just went for being just, no, this is the food I grew up eating. This is Iraqi food. So, I'd really recommend that you just go for as you said, flying the flag for Iraqi cuisine. London as a city, obviously, there's so many people.
To cut you off there, Philip, but the thing is, I will be residing in Glasgow, to be precise. I wasn't gonna do it in London.
Got it. So even there, I would say research your market, find out what the demographic is, and find out who is doing what. And but I'd still recommend to just go for it and just really represent the cuisine. And the whole vegan thing, do it. It's massive. For the stall at Borough Market, I was doing kubit haleb, potato chap, and then I designed a vegan potato chap with mushrooms inside, and that has become the best seller. And it's crazy to think that, and it's almost what, they're going to choose that over kubit haleb and the others, but this is the way the world is moving, and we have to adjust and we have to move with it. So yeah, just, you know, I think it's a great model, and I'll be happy to, you know, give out my email to everyone on this call at the end, and feel free to reach out, and we can discuss it more later on.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Ahmed. Are there other questions? Oh, there's a question, Phil, in the chat box from Tabarak Ayad. Where do you see the future of a platform for home-cooked food? I'm trying to revive an idea of such a startup founded by an Iraqi girl originally from Mosul who graduated from UCL. It's mainly to support disadvantaged women.
Home cooked food is the best. Like, let's be honest, it's like it's a taste of home, it's a taste of authenticity, and you can just feel it. You can just feel the love and the oh, like, this is home cooked food, right? We all love that. So I think there's a massive market there. As far as kind of how it would work, the only sort of examples that I can think of is where people have actually used kitchens where they have brought in, you know, either refugee women or disadvantaged women, or I'm trying to think of the startup, and it was basically a celebration of food cooked by these women. And it, you know, again, like, if you utilize your community, like, newspapers were all over it, they were writing about it, and it led to a big craze of people trying it. So I really think there's a platform there, and again, like, just as long as the food is good, which I'm sure it is, like, I think in any part of the world, like, people will come, like, regardless. If the food is good and the product speaks, they'll be queuing around the block. So yeah.
Thank you, Phil. Any questions from anyone else? Yes, Wadud, feel free. You can unmute yourself if you'd like.
Hi guys, hi Phil.
Hey.
Okay, so I have a question. I'm not a cook myself, but my mother is, as you know. And recently we were thinking about opening like a home business, because, okay, I live in Qatar, and what a lot of people do here is that they sell like food through Instagram. So they have like accounts on Instagram, and they just do like home businesses from there. So we wanted to do that, me and my mom. And my main question was about either focusing on specific dishes or offering everything, because mashallah, my mom like knows everything and she loves cooking everything, but she doesn't want to focus on anything in particular. But now that you said that when you have like a specific focus, it kind of gives you a identity in a way. So I'm just curious to know more about that.
Yeah, like, thank you so much, my dear, and it's lovely to hear from you. Personally, I think that it's really important to do something quite specific and quite focused. The reason why I say that is because, and I don't know again about your community or where you're based, but I'm assuming in Qatar, like, everyone is pretty much doing good Middle Eastern food, right? You know, good, you know, all the normal kind of fare that we all know. So if you or your mum came with something that was like, but have you tried her maskoof, or have you tried her, you know, tepsi, whatever it is, that in itself will be the standout. So then, and anyone thinks of, for example, tepsi or whatever the dish is, they will just think of you and your mum like that, you know. And that's kind of hopefully where I'd love to be in a few years' time. Kubba, Juma, like bang, just straight away. So, you know, and I think, again, once you kind of specialize in that area, you will differentiate yourself from all the other food businesses who are, you know, let's say, I say the term like a jack of all trades, but who deal with like all the normal kind of like food that, you know, most Middle Eastern restaurants would do or would cater. But if your particular dish was that, you know, oh, you should try that, you know, people are going to go out their way just to get that. So I'm only sharing from personal experience, but there was a place where we were that the chef's cuisine was like, it was just exceptional, and it was just like everyone went for his cuisine, like out of everyone. And I just think something like that, and it's again like you got to look at it like, have it so your business is so kind of simple and like what's the words? So you're just mitigating as much risk and as much headache as possible, because trust me, there's a lot of headache. Once you go down this path, there's going to be so many things. So, you know, have it that it's like, and you know, to start out with anything, start simple, start small, start specialized. So your focus and your time is just spent there. And then, okay, let's say you've won the hearts and you've built the brand and everyone's loving it. Then you can think about, okay, let's incorporate another dish. Let's incorporate another dish. So, you know, I think make it easy for yourselves while also delivering like excellence. And I think that's one thing I'd say, especially to start out.
Thank you so much. That's awesome.
Awesome.
Great. Phil, there's a question in the chat box. And by the way, Salih, if I missed any of the questions in Arabic, I don't think I did, but if there are, just let me know.
No, you didn't.
Okay,
Yeah,
thanks,
okay.
Salih. Thank you. May is saying, from your experience in the pop-up dining scene, which one is more convenient, especially in the early stages? Hosting a pop-up at one location or at different locations? And Burak, you can ask the next question. I see your hand is up.
So for May, I would say one location. And the reason why I say that is because I'm laughing because I'm just remembering stuff. Every venue and every different pop-up location I went to, there were so many issues with kitchen equipment, with plates, no plates. There was like the electricity would go out, fryers were broken, and like you guys as customers, no one gets to see this side, but I'm having a heart attack like that day, that morning. And it's like, if you can just find one venue and you build a relationship with that landlord or the person who owns a venue, and you really kind of like put your efforts and energy, again, like just keep it simple. And let's say you do, and which I know you will, like build the brand and build a name for yourself. You know, they know where to go. It's not like you're going to be at a different location next week. Like they know, okay, they're residing at this address, and then hopefully word will get around. If you did different locations, it kind of confuses it. And once word of mouth does get about, then no one really knows where you are. So I hope that answers it, mate.
Thank you, Phil. Burak, you have your hand up. Would you like to ask your question? Feel free to unmute. Burak, is your mic working? I see you're unmuted, but I didn't hear anything.
I heard so.
Hello.
Hi, Burak, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
How are you?
Hey, I'm very well. How are you?
I am good. Thank you, Chef.
Good. Thank you. What is your question, my dear?
Chef, how I can learn a good technique to be a good cook
guys having trouble hearing her?
Yeah, I heard a good technique, and then that was it.
Yeah, Burak, do you want to type in the chat box so we can hear your question better? We heard, how can you learn? We want to know what you'd like to learn so Phil can help you figure it out.
I am not good in the written.
It's okay. Do you speak Arabic or Kurdish?
I am speak Kurdish because I have a trouble in 3 language.
It's okay, Burak, type your question in Kurdish and we can translate for you, okay? So maybe while you're typing, we can take Abu Bakr, you have a question that says food is particularly powerful as a symbol because it is so deeply embedded in every day to deliver happiness to our stomachs. Jama's story inspired me, and I love to ask about what details you might miss in Iraqi cuisine for the first year of your startup that later changed. So maybe certain things you left out, Phil, of your food at the beginning that you changed. Is that the right? I think I understood it that way.
Thanks for the question as well, Abu Bakr. The first year, like I look back now, like the first year, I didn't know what I was doing. Like I just knew I wanted to fly the flag and to represent this cuisine and represent like delicious food that I grew up eating. So, you know, for me, it was it was work in progress. It was really kind of a year that was just kind of, I knew I wanted to build this thing. I knew I wanted to feed people. And then it wasn't until you take these steps of like, okay, I did the first pop-up. And then all of a sudden, I had some venues messaging me, like when it was like year 3, year 4, they were inviting me to come to their venue. And picture like in the first year, first 2 years, everyone was saying no. So, you know, things change. And I think when you've just got your head down and you're focused and you've got like this goal that's like, right, I need to just feed as many people and build this thing and build the cuisine and get everyone talking about Iraqi cuisine, you know, that definitely, that changes over time because, you know, when I look at where I was in year 3 of the business compared to year 1, year 3, like more people knew about me and knew about the food. So that allowed for a lot more freedom for me. And from a food perspective, you know, I'm like to this day, I'm still learning so much. You know, I still haven't mastered so many dishes. I'm still not educated in so many dishes of Iraqi cuisine, and I'm learning, and I'm not frightened or embarrassed to say that I'm learning constantly. And if there's a dish that I don't know, if there's something that I need work on, and you know, quzi, for example, I know my quzi is not to the level I want it to be, and I'm going to continue practicing and learning and also, like, I guess because I didn't have a chef mentor. I'd never had like an Iraqi chef mentor that I could just go to and be like, can you teach me this? You know, my dad was just, you know, he taught me a few dishes, and it was lots of like, you know, just trial and error really. So yeah, I just think like my cooking improved so much over the years. I got experience. Oh, that's one thing I didn't mention. I got experience by working in professional kitchens. So for whatever startup you guys are looking at, you know, target within your community who is doing that already, and just say you'll go work there. For me anyway, this is what I did. I just said to them, I'm going to work free of charge. You know, let me come in and let me learn. And that was in non-Iraqi, like just these were just normal restaurants. But I learned so much about cleanliness, about organization, about the hours, about, about how not to treat people, you know, because some kitchens are pretty tough. They're pretty tough places to work, and there's a lot of pressure and a lot of, you know, a demand for excellence at all times, and people are tired, and, you know, so it was great to kind of get that experience. So that's one thing I would say is, like, you know, whatever field or area you're looking to go into, go and work for people, and just see for yourself what it is. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to walk away like with knowledge, but also how not to do things. You know, you're looking and go like, okay, I got that, but I wouldn't want to do that myself. So, and that experience there is priceless. And the other thing I'd mention is mentorship. You know, I am more than happy to act in any way, shape or form as a mentor to every single one of you on this call. Like, anything you need, email me or email the Mosul space, and hopefully we can get a communication channel going. But find your own mentors within your community. And it might not be a mentor that is within your field, but it is something that they've got a mindset or a formula or just something in them that you can see they're very driven. And if you're kind of like being mentored by someone who's very driven and very focused, and someone who's gonna tell you like straight as well, not like, oh yeah, this is lovely, when it's not, like tell you real honest feedback, that is a great tool to have within your business. Because I know, like, I had some amazing mentors that helped me, and it's, you know, just having a phone call of being like, I'm thinking about this, and then you discuss it. It might be 10 minutes, just, you know, quick discussion, done. When you don't have that, it can be a bit difficult. So find yourself a mentor as well.
Thanks, Phil. So Burak wrote her question in the chat box, and she was wondering about how she can learn more cooking techniques so she can become a better chef.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'd definitely look at social media for that. Nowadays, there's a hell of a lot of videos and how to how to do pastry, how to bake a loaf of bread, you know, whatever it is. And but be careful not to get too overwhelmed, because there's just so much out there. You know, I'd invite you, Barak, to look really, like, again, what speaks to your heart. You know, is it sweet things? Is it bread? What is it? And you know, take some time there to look into, you know, videos on YouTube that really give step-by-step guides, and try it yourself. Like, you know, I look back, and the amount of cookbooks that I've bought over the years as reference points, if I'm totally honest, I don't read half of them. And I get them sometimes just to have them, just because everyone else is buying them. I'm like, oh, I've got to get that. But like, really, like, if you get a cookbook or you've watched something on YouTube, go and try it, go and do that recipe, because that's when you're really going to absorb the information and the knowledge. And yeah, and that to me is what would definitely help someone improve their cooking. And yeah, hope that helps.
Thanks, Phil and Burak, and for the translation as well. Burak, if you want the translation in Kurdish, just send me a message, okay, and we can translate for you. There was a question, someone, Dell's iPhone, I don't know your name, but if you'd like to ask the question, feel free.
Yeah, hi, I wrote my name. My name is Shams. So, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, Shams. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, all. First of all, I want to say it's such a pleasure to talk to you, Philip, and know about your story. It's very inspiring, actually. My question is, I probably missed some parts, so I'm sorry if this question has been already asked. My question is, how long did it take until you or your work really start to operate in a very good way and you start making an income? And the second question, if I may, is what is the key for having and growing? I'm not sure if you can hear me. I'm sorry, I have weak internet here.
That's amazing. It just clicked in. The last question again, Shams, what is the key?
Yes, what is the key for keeping your business growing and on fire and not fading away after a while? And thank you so much.
So, got it. So the first, Shams, thank you so much, my dear. And I really got your commitment in those questions. So what is the key to keep my business growing? Yeah, so no, let me answer the first one about income, right? There was if I looked at where I was compared to my peers and people around me, you know, when I say I started making money, I'm talking about I started making enough to pay my rent, cover my bills, and have a little bit of like disposable income to go out at the weekends. It wasn't like, yeah, like I've never like made enough, like this whole journey to now, I've never like made enough money to be in like this great position. I'm not from money, and I've not, you know, you have to be patient. You know, you have to be patient with it. And the things that kind of like really stood out for me in relation to income generators was there was a moment where I decided to take a step back from doing the pop-ups, because like, again, like you have to go to these venues, you set up, you sometimes do it for 1 day, 1 week, you know, and it's a hell of a lot of work. And the big thing in London for overheads is staff. Like paying wages is really, really like a big drawback on any business. And it's something that has to be done. Like everyone needs to be paid, right? But within the food industry, it was quite tough, because there's minimum wage, and you have to just pay people for what they're worth as well. But I decided to focus on the catering and events, right? And with that, I built my own kind of kitchen, my prep kitchen, with the money I accumulated from 5 years of doing pop-ups. I built a kind of kitchen space where, you got to bear in mind, all these pop-ups were done out of tiny, small, like residential kitchens. My poor girlfriend at the time, like, I used to fill the fridge with kanafa. I used to fill the freezers with kubba, and it used to drive her crazy, you know. And it's like, yeah, I didn't have this, like, I don't know, big space to do anything, and that could only take me so far. So when I did decide to build this kitchen, it changed everything. I had a space where I could really, like, number one, take on big jobs. Like, you know, it was just a lot of space. Like in London, like in the flats, like you don't have much room, you don't have much area, like to do lots of cooking. So, you know, and now since then there's been a lot of we call them kind of like shared kitchens, where you kind of like share kitchens with other businesses, but that's a side note. So by doing that allowed for me to really take on bigger stuff, and with bigger stuff meant bigger money. And but interestingly, one thing I want to highlight, I was never in a rush. Like, I've never been someone, like, I've had people approach me, okay, you know, let's write a cookbook. I think you do great, and I've turned it down because I'm just in no rush. Like, this journey has been the most beautiful, incredible, fun, highs, lows. Like, the journey's been amazing. Like, I wouldn't change this for the world. And, you know, I know where I'm going and I'm going to get there. And it's like, I'm in no rush to do things. And maybe that's bad. Like, I'm super driven, don't get me wrong. But it's like, if someone said to me, okay, you should be selling this or you should be doing this, and I'd always say to myself, if there isn't integrity behind it, I'm not going to do it. And what I mean by integrity, like, integrity has many meanings, like, but if I can't keep my word of this is going to taste amazing, this is going to be amazing, and this is going to leave that client or customer really like happy in their stomach, as someone said earlier. If I can't deliver that, I'm going to say no. And similar to like the cookbook deal that came, you know, there's so much about Iraqi cuisine that I don't know. I don't feel remotely authentic representing it at this stage of my career. You know, I've still got so much to research, and I'm so excited about that. So when I do have this cookbook, it's going to be all in there, and it's going to be a body of work, and it's going to be, you know, something I'm super proud of. So, you know, I try and balance the whole thing of like, don't be too much in a rush to do things for the sake of, you know, financial gain only. Like, people, I know people who try my food and who know me, they just know there's integrity to what I do and what I bring. And I think if I look at it, that's more powerful than anything, because that's integrity to your name, like to your brand. Like, yeah, he, you know, she is, you know, she does things right. So really like look at that. And I know this is so tough, because if someone said this to me, maybe when I was, you know, had no money and I was really struggling, I would have been like, but I need money, you know, I need money. So, but all I'd say is like, you know, dig deep, you know, you've got to really generate yourself always. And within that, the money is going to come, you know. And I'm not here saying I'm a wealthy, successful food entrepreneur. I'm not there yet. And pretty much every single person in my community is not there, right? Because it's a tough game to do really well at, but we do it out of love, and we do it because we just want to make people happy. What is the key to growing continuously? My community is a big part of that. I surround myself with people who hold me to account on such a high level. And that, what I mean by that is, they don't let me get away with anything, excuse me. They don't let me get away with things. If I say I'm going to do stuff within the business, they're going to hold me to that, and they're going to push me. And I'd really advise you to just surround yourself with people and teams, even on this, within, I'm assuming within, you know, Mosul Space and 51 Labs, you guys are all together, you know, work with each other, bounce off each other, play like, you know, virtual games of, you know, when I say games, I mean like games as in, you know, you're going to say you're going to reach this, or have a target in mind. Okay, we all want to kind of get this many sales, or even if you're starting out, you want to have your logo designed and your Instagram page set up by this date, and then hold each other to account and keep pushing and keep, you reach that goal. Okay, next. The other thing as well is, you know, I want to highlight, there's been so many times I've been so demotivated and so like, I cannot be, sorry, I was going to swear, I cannot be bothered to do this. I just can't be bothered, like, leave me alone. And in those times, it can be a little bit like, I'm going to say lonely, because it's just like, for me, it's like, some people think Juma is this big machine, and it's just been me. And it's like, if I stop, the brand stops. And that is probably not, you know, that has probably been the biggest sort of mental battle I've had on this journey. Like, if I stop, the brand stops, and it's like, that's actually like not fair. Sometimes I look at it like, it's not fair. But you know, that is the deal of entrepreneurship. That is the deal of a startup, and the way to kind of get around that is people around you, team. Like, if you switch off, someone else can pick up the reins and they can move forward. And the other thing is that I just love it. I love it. I love what I do. I love people. I miss everyone at the stall that I set up. Like, I'm living the dream. Like, there's pros and pluses and minuses to this, but I'm living the dream. Like, I love what I do. I'm so passionate, and yeah, like it's not left me. Even if, you know, we're all human, right? We're all human. We all have our days and maybe weeks where we have bad ones. But I'm lucky enough to be doing something that I love, and I think that is the key for growth. And finally, like, what else inspires me and pushes me is like, for you lot, like the next wave coming through. You know, that's why I said to my friend who's going to open in Glasgow, like, let's have it Iraqi. Like, you know, by the time I'm done in this journey, like, the whole world is going to know about this cuisine. So, you know, it's something like that. I definitely want to leave something behind before I'm done. So that's a big driving force as well.
Thanks, Phil. There was a question, a follow-up question from Burak, which is about being a woman chef. So she said that, you know, I know you, this is a hard one, I think, but she said that, you know, in Iraq, it can be quite challenging to receive support if you want to be a chef, especially if you're a woman. So, you know, what can she do? And also she's asking you another very hard question. She said she's a student now and currently studying physics, but wants to be a chef. So how can she convince her parents to let her be a chef? This relates a bit to the story you told at the beginning, I think, about your dad also. So
cool. Thank you so much, Barak. And I'm just getting your commitment. You know, as someone who is obviously not female, I have worked in kitchens at various restaurants. I've surrounded myself with male and female chefs, and interestingly, there has been a lot of you know, I'm trying to think of the right word, controversy around some male chefs coming out and saying, oh, you know, it's a bit too tough for women to be in the kitchen. You know, it's a bit too tough for them. And that's led to an absolute barrage of female chefs who are my friends, who've like come out and been like, no, you know, stop right there. And for me, like, I'm here in the privilege and the luxury of not having what you're dealing with, but I am so on your side and in your corner to really go for it and to really, you know, put your stamp and put your just like leave like a space for not only like for yourself, but empowering probably women all around you, you know, because it just takes that one action to step in and to really kind of like take a stand for what you believe in, and to really be in action around that. And when you're someone who is like, you know, male, female, whatever, but like have it that like your food will do the talking. So, you know, I want to share with you, you know, as someone who is obviously, you can tell, hearing me, London accent, I don't speak Arabic. I have had a lot of things thrown at me, the fact that I am the way I am, right? You know, he shouldn't be representing Iraqi cuisine. He's not Iraqi. You know, he's born in London. Like I'd sometimes come out after a pop-up and greet the customers and greet the guests, and I'd say hello, and they'd be like, "Oh, can we speak to the chef?" And I'd be like, "I am the chef." And they'd be like, "What? You cook this?" So, you know, with these things that are there, they are there to, number one, they're there to test us. And secondly, like, it's so easy for me to say, but it's like, do you, whatever's over there with them is over there with them, but just do you, and just blow them away with talent, blow them away with authenticity, with enthusiasm, with your absolute desire and commitment to whatever it is happening. And, you know, I can put you in touch with some female chefs here. You know, I am of service to you. Anything you need, it's an email or a WhatsApp or whatever form of communication away. And, you know, I'm by no means saying, again, it's going to be easy. It's probably going to take something. It's going to take something big to overstep some of the barriers you've got, and some of the ways in which males perceive women. And for me, it's ridiculous. You are giants. You're on the same, like, you're not even on the same, you're better than us. So, you know, just have that there, that it's really it's up to you to push through that. And I just know you're going to inspire and so many people, other women around you, when you do that. And the whole parents thing, you know, just again, just as much as I wanted more support, like every parent cares about their children. Every single mum and dad just want the best for you. And if that sometimes gets communicated when they're shouting, or in my case, nearly throwing the slipper at my head and forcing me back, you know, you're not being a chef, or you know, whatever. So it's, you know they're coming from that place of love, and have it that they just don't know your world. They don't know exactly what you're up to, you know. And it's important that for us, like, to communicate that and to share with our families and friends, like, really what we're up to. And, you know, enrollment, right? Enrollment is having the other person see for themselves, so they are touched, moved, and inspired. And it's like, you know, again, like, I'm saying this like my dad would do it. He wouldn't. He you know, he really lost his temper with me and everything. And I remember him calling me a dishwasher. That's how he described me going into the chef world. He said, you're leaving the city to become a dishwasher. And that's always stood by me. And, you know, but you got to do what you got to do. And, you know, yeah, I just think, like, imagine I didn't do it. Imagine I listened to him. You know, Kubba would not be where it is. My brand wouldn't be like where it is. So it's like, you just sometimes got to do what you need to do and stand by yourself, and again, have people around you that will hold you to account, support you, you know, and all of that.
Thanks, Phil. Budak says her mom is going to kick her out of the house once she hears this talk.
Oh, bless.
I hope not. I hope not.
Wow.
We have time.
Obviously, sorry, but carry on with your studies always. Get them done. Like, I'm just getting brownie points from my mum, but, you know, get them done and then cook on the side. I'm not here saying, like, go cooking. Like, get your studies done, obviously.
Great. We have time for one more question. Ahmed, I might see if someone else has a question first. So let's wait a minute. And if not, then we can go to you.
It's been awesome, guys, seriously. And I really acknowledge you all for your questions. It means a lot. and I'm really happy to answer them. So please, anyone who's there, like thinking they've got something to say and they don't want to say it, just please say it. Here is the time. We've got 5 minutes left. Let's do it.
Okay, Phil, oh, that's a good one. Okay, May is asking, just wanted to know, who was your biggest inspiration from the culinary world?
Oh, wow. Wow. So there's a few. So as a self-taught chef, I guess the first person that comes to mind is a French chef called Raymond Blanc, and he literally did start out as a dishwasher, interestingly enough, and he got himself to 3 Michelin stars, which is pretty much the highest accolade any chef could have, and from being self-taught, which was pretty incredible. You know, something else that is that's there is there weren't many Iraqi cookbooks when I was coming up, like to do what I was doing, and there was one author, Nawal Nasrallah, and she has written an incredible cookbook. I believe, she's going to kill me if I don't know this, The Garden of Eden is the name, and it's like an encyclopedia on Mesopotamia and Iraqi cuisine. And I remember like getting her email and emailing her like this kind of, I don't know, you know, I wasn't confident. I was just like, you know, I'm trying to be a chef. I'm trying to do Iraqi food, and here's some of the dishes that I want to promote. And bless her, like she emailed me back, and like we started a lovely kind of like back and forth with her, giving me guidance and supporting me and advice. And you know, I look just now, like I'm just smiling, because it's like things like that, like they mean the world. They mean so much, because you're there. I mean, I was in self-doubt, again, no confidence, and very insecure about kind of what I was doing. And there's someone there just to just really say, like, you know, and she wrote this incredible book that was so much knowledge and history and in it. It's not just food. It's like it really is an encyclopedia. So Nawal Azrael is someone who I hold in real high regard, and yeah, she's amazing. I met her last year for the first time face to face, so it was a nice moment for me.
Thank you, Phil. Ahmad, I apologize, we didn't have time for your second question. Phil, we've kept you far too long. Thank you. Thank you so much for giving us so much of your time. We really appreciate you being here. Salih, I don't know if you wanted maybe to say something in Arabic to close us.
Yeah, شكرا جزيلا لكم كلكم، كان وقت استمتعنا به، وأنا أريد أشكر الأستاذ حسنين شكر جزيل. ما أعرف إذا عنده كلمة يحب يحكيها هو، لأنه ساعدنا بالترجمة.
And I really want to close off, guys. Like, we're honestly, like, I'm really present to just how there's no real, like, nothing got in the way of this. Like, I came on thinking, you know, I should be speaking Arabic. Like, I'd love to like be speaking Arabic. Like, and we made it work. And we made it work thanks to you, Patricia, and the guys at Mosul Space, Salah, Abdullah. Thank you, guys. And I really, like, I'd love to do this again. And I'm here. I'm here for every single person on this call. Share my email with them. Hopefully, we can, you know, if I can be of any contribution or any time when they're having their low moments or they're unsure, I'll be there to yeah, just give them a nice gentle kick.
Phil, thank you so much. And also Hasanain, thank you so much for volunteering an hour and a half of your time to type all those translations. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, Phil, we'll share the recording as well. Some people were having internet troubles, and I'll share your email also. And we are waiting for you to come to Iraq. Really, we hope you can come visit Iraq soon.
You have my word, like it's happening. Once all this is over, like I've said this, like it's happening. So yeah, you know, Patricia, come on. It's gonna happen.
We're waiting. Yeah, sounds good. Thank you everyone so much for joining, and we hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.
See you. Bye-bye.